This is Chicago. Doors open on the left at Chicago.
Welcome to Chicago. Welcome to Chicago. Welcome to Chicago.
This is Chicago. Doors open on the left at Chicago.
Welcome to Chicago. Coming from the 606 Media Studios, this is the TCSF podcast with Big Z in the house. We got No Sweat Serg, and we got JC Dynasty Fantasy Football Guru. What is up, fellas? How you guys feeling?
Feeling good.
No complaints here, but I'll find something to complain about later.
Give me a little bit. I'll give you a lot to complain about when it comes to Chicago sports. Episode 177, the What If episode, is brought to you by 606 Media, true Chicago sports fans, and us, Serg, JC, and me. We sponsor our own shit. That's right. So, definitely go follow us on, we got Facebook, we got IG, we got TikTok. What else we got, Serg? Is that it?
I believe so. Oh, well, whatever streaming program, right? That we have podcasts.
Yeah. If you're watching us here, you can listen to us, our audio version, on any of the podcast services. And if you're listening to us, yes, we do have a online channel. Yeah, it is 606 Media, and you can find us right there on YouTube. So if you want to watch our beautiful faces, you can do that. So let's just get into it. In this live episode, the Chicago Bears look towards the future and the big what if, including coaching staff and draft possibilities. The Chicago Bulls Ring of Honor is spoiled by the last dance and blow large leads back to back with Zach back in the lineup. So I don't know if that's the common denominator. The Blackhawks signed some help after our boy goes down with a broken jaw, and the Chicago baseball hot stove is heating up on both sides of town. Us is, when you turn on the stove and it's barely lit, that's the WhiteSox stove. The Cubs are simmering. They're simmering. We got all that, what you're watching, and stirring a pot, and we'll discuss all of that. So let's talk Bears football. This is 3 and Out. That's right. Bear down. First down, let's talk about the thing we've been calling for the entire season is firing Luke Getsy. He is gone, along with a lot of the offensive coaching staff. We can start there with first down. JC, what do you think of the firing?
About time. We've been saying for weeks, we've been saying for months, we've been saying since almost halfway through the season. It's about time that Getsy got the axe. Hopefully, we've been interviewing some interesting names. Shane Waldron's one of them. Once his name popped up, that was super exciting one to me because according to PFF, for signal callers in the NFL, he was ranked as the 10th best signal caller or offensive coordinator in the league for 2023. So that is definitely an interesting one. We also are interviewing Clint Kubiak, as well as a few other names. Who knows? We'll see what happens there, but whether or not these guys will want to play lame duck underneath Eberflus, we'll see.
Yeah, that's got to be a hard thing to do because you might get a promotion, right? If you're just, on someone else's staff, or if you're just looking for a job. To jump on what is called like the lame duck head coach, right? Because he's got 1 year going into the next season. You don't know what's going to happen, especially if they draft a new quarterback. You need a new OC. And if they change, as we usually do, is we draft a quarterback and then get a head coach, wash, rinse, repeat with the Chicago Bears. You are a lame duck, and you'll be looking for a new job next season too. So why would you want to come here, move your whole family, start new schools, all that whole shebang that you got to do when you move to a new city, just to not have job security? That pretty much sucks. Serge, what do you think?
I think letting him go, the offensive coordinator go, was smart, but you should have taken the head coach with you. It just feels wrong. Like the philosophy, right? Where these coaches bring in their own team. So now it feels like management is handling who's going to fit where, and you're going to have to take the staff we give you. I don't want to work like that. And then, like you said, it's going to be sitting. I think they're rewarding him a little bit because they did end on a strong note. You know, besides getting beat by Green Bay, but it was 17 points. You know that we gave away, opposed to being blown out by 32 or something like that. So I'll give them that. But my problem right now is that they should have just let him walk. And Paul saying that he never talked to hardball is a huge messy situation for me. He'd never even looked for another head coach. They were gonna. It sounds like they were gonna keep Eberflus regardless.
Which is something we talked about and reported about like about 4 or 5 weeks ago, where it got leaked that they're going to keep Eberflus. But just like the Cubs did, they had a good coach, a good manager in place. But when you can upgrade that position, you do that. To go get a hardball, to go get a Belichick. I knew Belichick is not going to come here because he kind of wants the GM kind of capabilities as well. He wants to have the final say in all personnel, and that was not going to fly here.
Yeah.
But you got why am I that name? Pete Carroll also got let go up in Seattle. You have the coach from the Raiders who's interviewing at other teams. I know he's not going anywhere, right? Because he's supposed to be there. He's supposed to stay there. The players want him. They've already said if he's not there, trade me. He's interviewing in Atlanta, and I know me and Serg talked about this a little bit off air, where the NFL has that rule where you have to interview at least 2 candidates of color and so forth. But New England, just like the Dodgers, found a loophole and submitted a succession plan to the NFL prior to Belichick leaving. They said that this is our guy going forward. You were going to transfer everything to him. He's been here forever. He's the new successor of Bill Belichick. So they circumvented everything by finding something in the NFL CBA to be able to do that, or whatever their laws are. But you've got a lot of moving parts and a lot of great coaches that are on there. Mike Vrabel as well.
I was going to say, Vrabel to me is the one guy that, you know, if the Bears were to look somewhere else, Vrabel would be the guy for me.
Well, I'm sorry, Jesse, go ahead.
No, it's just his team plays extremely hard for him, you know, and like I said, even though Tennessee, you know, you go look at their roster, they really don't have any talent, you know, really at all. Treylon Burks has been a bust. You know, I know they had DeAndre Hopkins, but he's in the twilight of his career. You know, you got Will Levis coming somewhat out of nowhere, but I mean, literally, you know, Henry, twilight of his career, you know, like you just go up and down the roster at Tennessee Titans and it's just not good enough. You know, they're a declining elder team and it's just not good enough. So like, to me, Tennessee's got to go through a whole rebuild. So, you know, Vrabel gets, you know, unfortunately he gets the blame because the GM traded away AJ Brown when he shouldn't have,
when they told him. Yep.
So, you know, to me, like Vrabel is a great coach. He would have been one of those options I would have never seen coming. But to me, like if he was the Bears' new head coach, I would love it because he always has his players playing extremely hard. And like I said, you sit there and go, well, their roster kind of sucks, but yet they're still beating teams that they shouldn't be beating. So, you know, meanwhile, the Bears can't do that. So.
Yeah, and that's fair. And I apologize. You guys can say age discrimination. Please forgive me. Like I say about the presidency, we need younger. So you got these dynamic teams that are winning. I'm going to take Texas. I hate to say this. C.J. Stroud looked like a stud this past weekend, but look at the coach.
Yeah, I sent you guys the little snippet of. He went 11 for 16, but we had 3 touchdowns and almost 300 yards.
Look at the Raiders. Look at all these teams that are actually finding some sort of success. It's just not the quarterback, but you're finding success through the coach when he's already played it, or he is in the. He's just a younger. Belichick is not going to cut it. Don't stop trying to sell me on Belichick. Stop selling me on the Seahawks, Carroll, because I don't want the old man or the dated minds. I want the younger minds that are coming in here, the faster, quicker, and the same kid who came to Denver and put the Von Millers and the slimmer, faster, quicker on the line. I forgot his name, but he went back to, I believe he went back to the Patriots. What's his name? The offensive
Josh
coordinator.
McDaniels.
Boom, that guy.
Got
He came to
fired by the
Denver.
Raiders.
Yeah, but
Josh
think about it.
McDaniels. I mean,
He had the mind. He's just not head coach material.
no,
He knew
no,
what he
he's
wanted.
offensive coordinator, nothing more.
And you
I
saw
mean,
what he did with
he's
that
shown
line.
that in Denver and now the Raiders. He is not a head coach.
He's not a head coach, but he is a good coordinator as far as younger, faster. Because guess what? Like 2 seasons later, what did they do? They winded up winning it all because off the line he built.
Yeah, but at the same time, you look at, great. He was a great offensive coordinator with Tom Brady.
Tom Brady. I say that about Belichick all the time.
But you take Josh Daniels away from Tom Brady, and he's a nobody. He's mediocre at best. Granted, he had some good seasons there with, Matt Castle and some of those backups, so again, maybe his system works, but like I said, this is 2 times he's been a head coach, and both times have been flops.
No, not head coach material, but he does have an eye on how he built that line. Now everybody started replicating how he built that line, and they started becoming faster, quicker, slimmer. And when I started seeing that, they didn't pick the overweight, 300-400 pound guy. They started going slimmer. Look at Von Miller cutting through there, and guys like that on the line. That was Daniels. And I'll give him credit for that. I hate that I'm not a Bronco fan. I live out here in Bronco country, but I'm not a Bronco fan. But I did notice that, and I'm going to give him his flowers for that.
So I think Serg is on the Josh McDaniels for OC for the Bears. I'm going to say no.
I'm saying the younger mentality, the mind of he was maybe 6 years ago, right? 7 years ago, he was that man. Now we want younger. Look at the Dolphins head coach. Look at even Tomlin is still young, right? So he got his boys to I mean, he looked like shit today, but he got his boys to the playoffs, and he still had a winning record in a winning season. Look at the Raiders coach. He was a player, and now he's a coach, and he did a great job. So what I'm saying is that why can't we bring in somebody with that type of mentality? Or some sort of philosophy that, hey, let's go. And you guys are dead on right, both of you. That Titans coach is great. I wouldn't mind having him either.
Yeah, my argument, Pete Carroll, I mean, he's a young 70. I mean, he's out there running around, throwing balls. I mean, he's Legion of Boom, like I said, I mean, Pete Carroll, I don't know that I would necessarily want him as head coach, but hey, you know what? If like we had the conversation of, if Flus is going to keep making the play calls on the, like as a defensive coordinator, as well as being the head coach, bringing in a possible assistant head coach,
right,
would be a beneficial, thing. So, again, maybe you bring in a Pete Carroll to be an assistant head coach, or, I don't know how you want to phrase it, a senior executive, defensive,
mentor to your head
whatever. But you get them in the room, you get them in the building, you give them some special name or special title, just to get them in the room. As for Belichick, listen, I would love to have you as a defensive coordinator, but if you want GM duties, I'm sorry, pass.
Nope.
Pass on that.
He's been one of the worst GMs ever. If you look at all the efforts he's made and the dumb moves he made for trades.
I'm sorry. How many wide receivers has that guy drafted and
running backs?
And then he gets a Kendrick Bourne, or he gets I forget the other guy. It was Kendrick Bourne and Jacoby Myers. There we go. Mm-hmm. And Jacoby's balling out for the Raiders, but Bill's like, no, I can do better. Let me go draft Tyquan Thornton. Like, come on, bro.
Who?
Exactly. So I'll pass on. Like, Bill's pretty good at finding offensive linemen and defensive linemen and defensive players, but when it comes to offense, man, I don't trust you to draft anyone. Get out of here.
Yeah, and I guess my point is that we're keeping that head coach, and he's still in the hot seat. I guess my thing is that why not go kick around the tires and go talk to we all do it. We all look at the new cars and we want to bring them in and at least, feel the leather and so forth, or whatever it is we like about new cars. Why don't we go kick around and talk to Harbaugh and so forth? Why did we just say, no, we didn't talk to him? Why? Why did we do that?
Well, Harbaugh was still about to coach the championship game, so that's probably why, or he just.
He's saying he's not going to. That's
Oh
what.
no, they're not going to. He's already had an interview in LA for the Chargers position, and he's all about.
Book us. Why are we not picking up the phone and say come to Chicago and talk to us?
Because it's the Chicago Bears, and that's the Chicago Bears way of doing business. It's very similar to the White Sox and the Bulls, where they don't do their due diligence, and then they hire somebody on the cheap end at Five Below. That's exactly what they're doing. Because, and it's funny because my second down point was the possible names for the OC job, which is Shane Waldron, Clint Kubiak, and Liam Cohen. So those are the three names that they're tossing around. They've been interviewed, and I think Liam is on deck to be interviewed. You know what? At this point, I do want somebody outside the organization, outside thinking, just like Serg is saying. But you've got to marry it with the defense, right? The defense has to have somebody calling it, and unfortunately, right now we have the defensive coordinator being the head coach. That is too many responsibilities to oversee the entire team and to pull up a game plan for the defense while still managing the rest. At this point, it feels like he was just worried about the defense and let the offense fall where it may. When we're talking about Getsy, he had free range to do whatever he wanted, and it was the same screen pass for 27 plays, and not letting Justin be Justin. And I think what Ryan Poles did was continuity, and I think he talked about it at the press conference. The continuity was not putting that kid through another offensive coordinator, trying not to, and then did it anyways. He has to learn another whole new offense, which would be his third one, right? Third one. So he's in that Jay Cutler realm of learning three offenses in 3 to 4 years. So I don't think that's going to be beneficial to Justin. And at this point, like Serg said, you should have torn it all the way down to the studs. When it came to the coaching staff, you dropped your quarterback. You've got a good defense. Let them carry you while this quarterback comes into his own, and roll the dice that way, because you can win with a mediocre quarterback. You can't win with a mediocre defense. And it's just simple as that.
Well, looking at what we just witnessed, right, is that Caleb Williams just went ahead and declared for the draft, right? So since he declared for the draft, Bears have options, and I wouldn't mind. And I know I posted it. Everyone is saying Fields. I mean, a majority of what I've read, and I went in there, majority of people Fields. I think Caleb has been given a bad rep because of social media. And when you start looking at it, and if they would have teared it down to the nubs, like you said, I think we would take Caleb, trade Fields, take that one, and give Fields to, I think, Atlanta. Then we would have 1, 8, and 9, and whatever else we're going to get, right? And that's what I've been reading all day. This is what I've been focused on, is that why not just go ahead and trade him and take that 1, 8, and 9? But everybody's hung up on, well, Fields will eventually get it right. I think his football IQ is so low that he'll never get it right.
So, and to your point, I wanted to ask JC this. Can this team win next year with Justin as a quarterback and Marvin Harrison as a second wide receiver, and maybe a small upgrade on the offensive line? Can they win?
Absolutely. Because again, you get a better offensive line, upgrade the running game a little bit. You've already got Roshan there. You've got, Herbert there. Yeah, we're, Devonta Freeman, we might be able to re-sign him. I don't know what it would cost to re-sign him on another 1-year deal. So to me, like, those three running backs would be perfect. You upgrade the offensive center in the late second to early third. Like I said, you got Frazier, Powers Johnson, and there's another 1 or 2 centers there in like the third round. So again, you grab one of those centers in that third round range, that should upgrade our run game pretty well. And then, like I said, you add a much bigger, stronger Marvin Harrison Jr. to basically replace a Mooney in the Equinemius St. Browns, the Tyler Scotts. I mean, you're basically looking at the Twin Towers. So you're looking at the Julio Jones and you're looking at the Roddy White situation, Atlanta used to have back in the day where, you got two guys over like 6', 6'2", they can go up and play above the rim. And then you also have Cole Kmet. Like I said, to me, that would be a win-win. The only downfall, I sit there and look at, I watched some of Justin's film, and yes, he does make his progressions. He does make his reads. It's super slow going when he does so. It takes him forever to move on from a read. So you sit there and look at Caleb Williams. I got to be honest with you. Like, you go turn on the Notre Dame tape, and it's a rough watch. I mean, what they did to Caleb Williams in that Notre Dame game, just go back, just literally type in all 22 Caleb Williams, Notre Dame, and you watch some of that film, and like, he's literally rolling out of the pocket, about to get crushed, throws a ball to nowhere, 10 yards short of any wide receiver. And it's like, where are you throwing that to? Like, there's nobody even there, like, other than the defender. And it's just like, it was a desperate play because he was about to get crushed. I mean, he had a defensive lineman just barreling down on him. And like I said, he was just trying to toss it up to anybody.
Yeah.
Because he knew he was about to get crushed.
So my question, JC, is that if we see all this and you're noticing it, I'm pretty sure everybody else is noticing this, then what made CJ Stroud that guy to take the Texans that were supposed to be a rebuild? Why can't Fields do that? Why are we constantly looking for our number one quarterback?
So when I watched tape on CJ Stroud last year, to me, it was his accuracy. When he was throwing to players, I mean, he was such an accurate passer. I mean, it was unbelievable. Like, everything was within like 2-3 yards of every player he was tossing to, with touch, with accuracy, with placement, everything, back shoulders. I mean, you literally just watched that guy throw the ball. Even at the combine, with wide receivers he has never worked with, has no timing, no rhythm, like nothing. Even at the combine, he was literally sitting there throwing darts. And again, it might be he's throwing to a spot, 15 yards, 5 yards from the hash. Again, I don't know how he does his process, but you literally sit there and watch him just literally throw darts all over the field to players he has no continuity with, and like I said, it was next level.
Sounds very Brady is where Tom Brady said, run your 10 and out, and I'll hit you. Once you hit that hash, that ball's gonna be there, and the wide receiver doesn't run it the way he wants it to run it. He's like, no, it's gonna hit you exactly when you hit that hatch. That's accuracy, and that's knowing the playbook and knowing exactly what you can do with your wide receivers. There's so many scenarios when it comes to the Bears, and what I'm looking at, like, we could have Will Levis. We woulda, coulda, shoulda, right? The what if, that's the name of the episode. But what if they do trade Justin Fields and they do draft a quarterback and they do draft an offensive line and Marvin Harrison Jr., and even if they supplement it with, I don't know, a Mike Evans or DJ Shark. I mean, there's a bunch of wide receivers that are going to be free agents. Tyler Boyd. There's a lot of receivers that you can use to supplement all of that, because I don't know how long it takes for a wide receiver, a rookie wide receiver, to acclimate to the NFL. I know it might be a little faster than a quarterback. Do you also go after a veteran quarterback to supplement your rookie quarterback? Do you go after what's his name from Minnesota? I know he's gonna be asking for a lot of money, but Kirk Cousins.
So you're saying if we trade Justin Fields and then we
Correct.
draft a rookie quarterback,
Right.
you're saying would we go get a veteran?
Yep.
Is that your question?
Yep.
To me, if you're drafting Caleb Williams or Drake May in the top 3, I think they're starting right away.
Okay.
Now, if you draft a Bo Nix later on in the first,
Mm-hmm.
Bo Nix I think is going to have to sit a year.
Okay.
Michael Penix, I think, has the ability to start year 1.
Okay.
Just because, I was doing some work for my business on the side over the weekend. So while I was doing that, I had some all 22 film running in the background.
Mm-hmm.
So I like I said, I watched a little bit of Caleb Williams over the weekend. And then I also watched a little bit of Penix. And the one thing that I loved about Penix's film was when the guys were open, he was getting them the ball.
Mm-hmm.
When nobody was open, he was throwing the ball away. He wasn't taking sacks. He wasn't taking unnecessary hits. It was literally like, here's my reads. 1, 2, 3. Nobody's open. I'm throwing the ball out of bounds and on to the next play.
Is he a smart quarterback or is he a game managing quarterback?
Penix, he is definitely not a Justin Fields. I will say that. Penix as a passer, to me, from what I saw on film, to me is much better than Justin Fields. But Penix has also had multiple ACLs, multiple shoulder injuries. So it's one of those, like, he is not a mobile, like, running quarterback. He can run a little bit, but it's he's no Justin Fields. Like, he's
more like a Big Ben where he can maneuver in the pocket, but
yes,
don't run because you'll get hurt.
Yeah, which I mean, even Big Ben when he was younger, he was mobile.
Yeah.
Same thing. Aaron Rodgers was mobile when he was younger. A lot of these guys were mobile when they were younger, but as you get older, you lose a lot of that speed, and then you got to rely on other things. Like I said, Penix to me is interesting because he makes his reads 1, 2, 3, nothing's there, throw it away. Where, how many games have we watched Justin Fields making a read, gets crushed?
Mm-hmm.
And it's just one of those where, like I said, I love to see a quarterback that's, making that decision of, hey, I'm not going to take a 5-yard sack, just get the ball out, and move on to the next play.
And that's my point. Like his football IQ is just not all there for me. It's not very high because you hold that ball for 4 seconds too long, you're on the floor.
Yeah, like I said, Justin Fields, he can make his reads and everything, but so I talked about this earlier in the year because when Bajent was playing and taking over, they actually did like a stopwatch of Bajent getting to his 5th, drop back, his 7-step drop back, and how much faster his dropbacks were than Justin Fields. Like, Bajent, it was, I think his dropbacks were 2.6 seconds, where like Justin Fields was like 3.1, 3.2 to get to his final step in the dropback. And when you're talking, half the time at 3 seconds, the ball should be coming out. Not you getting to your last drop back. So again, it's to me with Justin Fields, it's a lot of mechanical issues. I told you, I said this a long time ago when we drafted Justin Fields. I didn't like his throwing motion. He has a very elongated throwing motion. The ball drops below his elbow constantly in his windup. So like I said, it's instead of, a Peyton Manning where the ball's held up here, like at your shoulder level, and it's back and throw. Like Justin Fields, it's a whole wind up ball. Yeah, ball drops below the elbow. So, like I said, to me, it's a lot of mechanical things. And you would think by year 3, we would be cleaning a lot of that up.
Sounds like Trubisky.
There's so many QB gurus. There's so many whatever quarterback coaches. Like these are things that should have been cleaned up by year 3. Yeah. Now we're going into year 4 and we still have issues of And again, maybe he got used to having a great offensive line and great wide receivers in Ohio when he was in college, that he could take 3.5 seconds to do a drop back. But again, this is the NFL,
Everybody's an All-American in the NFL.
Yeah. So, like I said, to me, it's one of those, like, I'm not against holding on to Justin Fields, seeing what he can do with a new offensive coordinator, again. But if we pass on another generational quarterback and then we find out Justin is not the guy, and then we're sitting there, we have no future first, like I said, we have to trade back. If we don't draft a quarterback, we have to trade back to get future assets, because again, it all comes down to, if Justin is not that guy and we do have to start over, like looking for a quarterback next year or the year after, then here we are again. We need the assets.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, like you guys, I definitely don't think we're going to be looking at Kirk Cousins in the way of, I think that's who you were alluding to.
Yes, Kirk Cousins. Yes.
I don't think we bring in a Kirk Cousins. To me, the guy I would love to see being brought in, bring me in like a Gardner Minshew.
Ooh.
Like give me one of those guys or bring me in Joe Flacco. Like, see if you can outbid the Browns for Joe Flacco services. You know what I mean? Like, and push Justin Fields to be like, hey, look,
the old man's gonna get you.
Yeah. Like, listen, man, like, this is year 4. Like, we're trying to win a Super Bowl. We are putting the pieces around you. We have given you DJ Moore. We've given you Marvin Harrison Jr. We've upgraded the offensive line. The defense is raring to go.
Right.
I think we have $60 million now in cap space because we re-signed Cairo, and because of the money we gave the Sweat. So now we're down to $60 million in free cap space.
And you got to re-sign Jalen Johnson.
Jalen will probably be 20 to 25 million. So, then you're down to 35 million, call it. So, like I said, 35 million is still nothing to scoff at. You could still go pick up some decent players. You could re-sign Devonta Freeman. You can possibly get a Saquon Barkley, or one of those.
Henry's on the market. Come on.
No.
I mean, Henry for third down back is not a bad deal. He doesn't have to run all the time.
No, Derrick Henry's washed. I'm sorry.
He's like who's the running back that I used to draft all the time from Minnesota?
Peterson.
Adrian Peterson. No matter what fantasy team, I was like, I'm drafting Adrian Peterson with my last.
Still there. Yeah, but Adrian Peterson was. I mean, he was a freak. He was like Mike. He was like Mike Tyson, man. Like, it didn't matter how old that guy got. I mean, he was just. But unfortunately, like I said, this year, like, Henry really showed his age.
He did.
And like I said, the guy was getting 300 touches every single year. I mean, he's just.
That's a lot.
He's just getting used and abused. Same thing like McCaffrey. McCaffrey's probably 2 or 3 years away from same thing, being fallen off the edge, because again, when you feed somebody that many touches,
that's why that position is what
it's
supposed to be.
There's only 3 or 4 years. There's only so many train wrecks your body can go through. So
Forte was that guy.
So again, to me, like I said, I would re-sign Devonta in a heartbeat. Like I said, I think he did pretty well. I know he got injured at the end of the season and didn't really do very well, but to me, that's a perfect 3-man running group. You got Herbert, Devonta, and Roshan. I mean, Roshan, for a rookie, he was picking up, all kinds of pressures and all kinds of stuff. He was awesome on third down.
Yeah, so I really think that. Yeah, he could have, like, if we didn't have somebody already, he could have been the starting running back. We have a comment here. Let's see. Just to wrap up the Bears segment. Sorry to cut you off, Jason. It says, if the Bears draft the quarterback with the number 1 overall pick, and most likely MHJ will be off the board with y'all. No, because you can still draft a quarterback if we trade down. We can still trade down and draft a quarterback and go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, I think the question is if we take Caleb Williams at 1 and MHJ is gone,
Yeah.
who do we like at the number 9 pick?
Oh.
I was thinking Neighbors or Dunze. What do y'all think?
Maybe.
So I'll be honest with you, Beto or Neighbors, I believe will be gone to Arizona. So if we take Caleb, I think MHJ is taken either by the Patriots or Arizona. And then Neighbors will not make it past the Giants. And then Odunze could potentially be taken by the Titans. So like I said, there are multiple teams in the top 7 that need wide receiver help desperately. So I could see all 3 of those guys potentially being gone before we pick at 9. It all depends on whether or not the draft hype of these wide receivers takes off or, it continues to, be stagnant. For the Bears at 9, my personal opinion is move back at the number 9 spot
I was just about to say that.
and build up more draft capital. I would love to move into the 10 to 13 range because even at 10 to 13, you are still looking at one of the top 3 edge rushers. You got Jared Verse, you got Latu, and then you have Turner from Alabama. Those 3 edge rushers in that 10 to 13 range. Even if you wanted to move further back than 13, there's another edge rusher, Chop Robinson. I believe he's from Purdue, or not Purdue, Penn State. I believe he's Penn State. Chop Robinson is another guy that's going to go in the first as well. But to me, like I said, if you're taking Caleb at 1, I really still think at 9 we need to be looking edge rusher across from Sweat, and then I'd be looking at like a T Higgins or one of those guys in free agency, DJ Chark. One of those guys in free agency would be my personal way I think we would go, because to pay an edge rusher in free agency, yeah, Burns will be out there, Daniel Hunter, but right now it's really early to call because it's also, you got to see who gets franchise tagged, who gets, there's a lot of moving pieces. But if we were to stay at 9, again, I don't think either of any 3 of those wide receivers are there. And if Odunze is there at 9, I still would lean edge. Just because, again, I feel like we can potentially bring back a Mooney or, bring in a T Higgins or one of those guys in free agency.
Yeah, there's a lot of wide receivers in free agency. You got Pittman, you've got Randall Cobb. I know he's a little older. Braxton Berrios,
Mike Evans.
Mike Evans is at the top of the list. Curtis Samuel, Tyler Boyd, DJ Shark, Agnew. You got Paris Campbell. Let's see who else. Clayton.
I mean, then you have guys that could be cap casualties, such as Hunter Renfro.
Yeah,
some of those guys. So
lots of moving parts.
Yep. Like I said, I think it's too early to call, but like I said, at 9, I do tend to lean towards looking at edge rusher.
Yep. I was thinking the same thing, JC. I was thinking about what Greg Bragg said when he was with us a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I thought about if you trade it and you slide back, then, but if you just trade this one and slide it, go right back as well. And
yeah, Bragg's actually, if you go look at his Instagram, he is very high on Turner. I haven't watched any tape on a lot of these rushers yet, but I know, like I saw, he's pretty high on Turner on Instagram.
All right, well, I think we can punt our Bears segment until we have some draft news or any breaking news. But this is going to be the last Bears 3 and out for a while until we get till JC gets his knives sharpened for the draft. That's just Christmas, really.
Like I said, I'm starting. I watched like I said, I watched a little bit of all 22. Like I said, it not nearly enough because usually like I'll go watch, like I said, Caleb Williams Notre Dame game, then I'll go watch this game, that game. Like I try and watch multiple all 22 film games of people before I make decisions. But like I said, that Notre Dame game, it was a rough one to watch of Caleb's because, like I said, he was making some really bad decisions, really bad plays, and it's like, okay, if this is him at his worst,
Wait till he gets to the NFL and gets rushed like that. He's in a panic.
right? But at the same time, it's one of those. You watch like some of the other stuff that he does because he can make some very quick decisions and he can make some very like he sees things on the field like as it's happening. And like I said, some deep balls where his first read is supposed to be over here, but he recognizes the safety is rolling down into the box and he's like, oh, I got this. And next thing you know, it's a 30-40 yard touchdown. But again, I need to watch. I definitely need to get back on it, and I need to watch some more film. And like I said, I'll have some updates in the next couple weeks.
Sounds good. All right, y'all. We'll be right back with the loop after a word from our sponsors.
This is Chicago. Doors open on the left at Chicago.
Hey, true Chicago sports fans, show off your Chicago pride with some fresh clothes from Grit Clothing Company. At Grit Clothing, they create that simple yet classic style that represents that Chicago Southside lifestyle. From t-shirts to hoodies, hats to glassware, they've got you covered. Grit has everything you need to represent your Chicago pride, so do it right now. Check out gritclothingco.com and use the promo code TrueFan15.
TrueFan15.
For 15% off your entire order. Let me say it again. That's gritclothingco.com and use the promo code TrueFan15 for 15% off of your entire order.
Hey guys, it's Steven.
And this is Sean, and you are listening to True Chicago Sports Fans.
Don't forget to listen to No War on the Weekend. New episodes on Monday. You can find us anywhere you listen to podcasts.
Yeah, so we're going to go do a couple of shots. So let's kick it back over to Big Z.
Thanks, Sean. Welcome back to the TCSF podcast. This is The Loop, our Chicago sports roundup where we keep you in the loop. We're going to start with some Bulls basketball. I think they're playing right now on MLK Day. And, all right, that's enough. I can't play test. YouTube will block it. Bulls. Before we start getting into gameplay and numbers and all that, this past week, the Ring of Honor was celebrated last Friday against Golden State. You had the 96 Bulls. You had, every old school Bull there. They honored Dennis Rodman, Scottie Pippen, Michael Jordan, Steve Kerr, John Paxson, everybody, a lot of players, right? But the biggest thing, and I know it made a lot of news, and this is a little bit behind, but when they showed Jerry Krause and the Chicago Bulls crowd in-house booed him out of the stadium. And then after they make the announcement, they put the screen up, they say Jerry Krause. Then they say, oh, he constructed so many 6 championships and so forth. And then they pan down to his widow as she is being rained down by boos. I was disgusted by the way our Chicago fans reacted to Jerry Krause. Because without Jerry Krause, there is no championships because he made the supporting cast for Michael to be able to win championships. So without Jerry Krause, there is no 6 championships. He didn't draft Michael Jordan, right? But he did draft a bunch of other players that you probably even forgot about. I think I have the list right here. Let's see. He drafted, in 87, Horace Grant, traded for Scottie Pippen. 88, traded for Bill Cartwright. 89, Stacey King and B.J. Armstrong drafted. drafted Tony Kukoc, and people called him fucking crazy for drafting somebody from overseas and keeping him over there for a while. Drafted in 93, signed Steve Kerr in 93. Traded for Luke Longley. Signed Ron Harper. Traded for Dennis Rodman in 95. The championships do not exist without those moves. Now, there was some moves after Jordan left, right? Drafting Elton Brand, who should never have left. Drafted Ron Artest, another all-star. Acquired Jamal Crawford on draft night. So he traded for Jamal. Acquired Brad Miller. You can say whatever you want, but he's very similar to Vooch. Drafted Eddie Curry. Drafted Tyson Chandler. Drafted Jay Williams. Not his fault that he blew out his knee that summer on a motorcycle. The kid was really good. Okay? There's no reason that this man should be booed. Yes, he was fat and clumsy. But you know what? That is only portrayed because of The Last Dance that Michael Jordan produced, executive produced, wrote it pretty much, and said, I don't like Jerry Krause because he blew up the Bulls. No, you were being a selfish asshole and saying, I'm not playing unless Phil's back. You didn't really need Phil. Let's be honest. You already ran everything. And when Phil said that the place for Scotty for somebody else, you said, no, I'm taking it because you were the alpha dog. So there was no reason to go after Krause. Serge?
Well, let's go back. We traded Elton Brand
Yes.
for Tyson Chandler.
Correct. On draft night.
That was horrible. Because
we didn't develop him. We didn't develop Tyson Chandler. He wasn't a bad player. It's just he wasn't developed by us.
From Dominguez High School, I remember that when they said it, I was like, "Oh shit!" What are you getting this scrawny kid? There was that. We did get Ron Artest. We got Jamal Crawford. I mean, Krause did his job. The problem with Krause for me is that at the end of the day, and I do not condone the booing, and I watched it here in Colorado in front of my TV. So when I saw it, it appears that they put it on the Tron, right, the Jumbotron, and they're saluting this guy. I'm thinking they're booing the Jumbotron. They're not booing, her, obviously. So when it all had stopped, and then now they're showing her, she's crying because they're booing him there. I was like, oh, shit, that's not going well. But the way it was looked at, and you're correct, Krause kind of did some manipulative stuff behind them. It's like that arrogance, like, oh, I put you guys together. I could put another dynasty together. I don't need you, blah, 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 type of mentality where it didn't really pan out the way he wanted to. And you are correct. These are Jordan fans. Just because Jordan disliked him, everybody else kind of jumped on that bandwagon because of the Last Dance series. However, did we all not notice Michael Jordan did not thank Krause on that big old Jumbotron, or is it just me? And I put it on our page. It's there. He didn't thank Krause at all. And it just goes to show you that our fans are going to support Jordan and not Krause at all. But Krause did do some great moves. He did, but he was just that arrogant bastard that sat there and said, I could do this without you. I don't need you, Jordan. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, cool. Yeah, with all that salami stuff coming out of his, I could just hear
Jordan couldn't have done it without Krause either. Yeah. And that's the arrogance of Jordan. And we all know how arrogant Jordan is and how he could be. But, I mean, facts are facts. They couldn't have done it without each other.
Nope.
I mean, and you have Krause who put in Phil Jackson after firing what is this? I'm drawing a blank. After firing their coach, right? He's like, oh, he's gonna be on your bench, and essentially he was your replacement.
Yeah.
There is no championships without him. So I don't want to hear you can slander somebody personally, but just take that out of the way. Take out the way he looks, or how arrogant he was, or how he wasn't transparent and very snippy with the media. But the man did his job, did he not? Considering he was a baseball scout. The man was a baseball scout, and Reinsdorf put him in that position to scout for basketball and did a phenomenal job.
He gave us a decade. He gave us a decade of glory for Chicago basketball. And I keep trying to tell people this. We might not like the guy, but he did his job. He did come out and he gave us a decade of beautiful basketball. I mean, we were celebrating What were we celebrating? We were celebrating championships. After that, the Trinidad fight, right, against and the Puerto Rican Day parades, and we're like, oh, look at all these things going on. But the biggest thing was the championships and the parades and so forth. So we do have Krause to thank for that. We do have Jordan to thank for that. But without both of them, it was just a bad marriage at the end. Is that safe to say? Like, if it didn't work out?
Well, it's spoiled. I mean, obviously it's spoiled, and obviously it had to do with Jordan, right? Mm-hmm. Since The Last Dance came out, Jordan and Pippen no longer in speaking terms. So not even between, I know the whole son issue that came afterwards, but since that came out, they don't speak. The portrayal of late Jerry Krause, look what happened. Horace Grant and MJ no longer talking. And it's not on my notes either, but Luke Longley and MJ do not talk.
Common denominator.
Luke Longley was not in the Last Dance at all.
Mm-hmm.
So
common denominator.
I thought Luke was in The Last Dance.
He wasn't interviewed at all.
No, he wasn't interviewed, but Jordan did give him his praises and say, that he wouldn't have done it with any other center. That he appreciate everything Luke did. Even though he kind of praised Luke, but at the same time trashed him a little bit as well.
Yeah, well, that's Jordan. He's like, well, I'm going to give you a compliment, but it's a backhanded compliment.
Backhanded compliments,
yeah. Right? Like,
I
mean, go ahead.
But to go back on it, first off, the Bulls should have definitely been like here representing, the Krause family. Yes. Put her up on the jumbotron first.
Pedestal too.
But yeah. And trust me, I am not defending any Bulls fan for booing. I'm sorry. Yes, you know what? The guy blew up the Bulls before the Bulls were done. It's same thing. We're watching how long can Steph Curry and Clay and all these guys keep going before you blow them up?
Right.
We're watching the same thing. All right. So yes, he blew up the Bulls before the Bulls, maybe the Bulls won one more. Who knows? The fact of the matter is Jordan disappeared for a couple of years there to go play baseball because of his gambling. I don't know. Maybe, so again, you can't blame a guy for sitting there going, hey, you know what? I need to find, the coup coaches, this guy, that guy. Now, again, Jordan portrayed him as, he was always trying to find his next baby, while treating the guys in-house like crap.
How did he get treated like crap? He was the first player to get a $30 million contract.
But again, if you're the guy, you're the GOAT, and you have a guy that consistently is like, oh man, I just drafted this European, Tony Kukoc. He's going to be the next great thing. And, he's saying that to your face every day on the airplane, on the bus, whatever, which I mean, there's a whole video of Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan in, the Olympics picking on Tony Kukoc because Jerry Krause kept hyping him up about how this guy's going to be so amazing. And, again,
he was.
But there is no defending what the Bulls fans did. Jerry Krause didn't deserve that. His widow did not deserve that. His family didn't deserve that. I'm sorry. We got to grow up. Especially with something like that where you are celebrating like 6 victories and you boo the guy. He gave you 6 championships.
Yeah.
Like, hey,
that's more than any other team we've had combined.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
Yeah, all of them, including the Bears.
Sox. I mean, the Blackhawks came close, right? They got 3 in 5 years. And if you still add the Bulls and the Sox, that's still not 6. Hey, you could even add the 98 championship from the fucking Fire, and you still don't beat the Bulls. Like that's how far back you have to go. Like 6 championships in 8 years. Stop being, and especially it's been 30 years. Stop being fucking petty. It's over with. And you're buying $400 shoes from Jordan. You're the dummy. As Serg is wearing Jordans today.
them fours, man. Them fours. Can't get them.
Oh, man.
Fours.
I have 2 pairs of Jordans. One was a gift, and one I bought because those are the Bread 11s because that's what I wanted as a kid. But I digress. Serge, what are the Bulls doing lately, man?
They I'm kind of stunned because I thought they were gonna do that they were gonna do poorly when Zach came back because they were gonna be nostalgic and just stagnant and so forth. But actually they've been pretty decent. I believe they won the last 4 or 5. Unfortunately it'll be last 4 of 6 if 134 left with 104-91 against Cleveland right now. But here's the thing. It appears that Lavine had the man in the mirror in a moment. And he has gone out there and played the way we wanted him to play. Now, he is not a point guard. I'm tired of him forcing those weird passes where he goes in and he just tosses it over, he overthrows everybody and so forth. But you can see that he is just actually trying, to be a different type of player. And his numbers have shown. His rebounding has gone up. His assists has gone up. His points have came down a little bit, but that's because he's becoming a little bit more well-rounded player, and he's just forcing things that he's not used to doing because he doesn't play a true point guard. So when he's going in and you see him getting ready to do whatever he does to either take the foul, he just throws a pass way over Cody White's head, or he's throwing it over to Vooch on the corners, and he's just doing too much. But I do salute him for trying to fit into what they were doing before he came back. And I do, like you would say, give him his praises and his flowers because he's actually trying to be a better player. And maybe he had that man in the mirror moment, that epiphany where I was wrong. And maybe I need to play Donovan's way because he wasn't doing it before. The way these guys were playing when he was gone was the Donovan way because this is what he bought from the other team. The younger players just, moving it, being very active and moving without the ball, not stagnant. So I'm going to give him a lot of, not today, but I will give him a lot of credit to him changing his ways, swallowing his pride, and being a very, very good sport about being a well-rounded player.
Yeah, to back up your statement, that Lavine's averaging 16.8 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists in 35 minutes since his return. He's shooting 49% from the field, 37.5 from 3-pointers, and posting 3 straight games with 7 or more assists. So he's playing into the offense. The problem is that him playing into the offense is definitely affecting the rest of the players. As you've seen with Golden State, Billy Donovan did not use his bench correctly. You got what is his name? Jesus. Javon Carter I barely even saw him out there. He plays great defense and he can shoot the 3, and he wasn't out there in the second half at all. We have a rebounding machine and we're not using him, and that's what we're lacking. Vooch is not a guy that boxes out very well. He's just around the rim and very big, and can grab a rebound when it's super easy to do that. But Drummond is the guy who's getting this 2020. Like that Drummond has more 2020 games than Shaq. That's telling you something right there. All right, Drummond is the dog. And I know we posted on the page, like, should he be starting? Yeah, he should be.
Yeah.
Sorry. I need somebody to rebound because the Bulls miss a lot, especially if they're not hitting those threes like they weren't hitting them today against Cleveland. This is the result. We're back to the old Bulls who do not rebound and just chuck up shots and run ISO ball. And this is the result. They're losing by 15, I think.
Oh, yeah, 9 of 32 3-pointers tonight. 9 of 32.
So, which means it's a very Steph Curry influence offense. If we're not hitting our threes, we're going to lose. Right? And you're not built that way. You have one player that can shoot the threes, and if he's off, it's ruining the whole thing. Zach Lavine, another one. He has to be a catch and shoot. He doesn't set up for that. And also, like, he's being not as assertive as he used to be. So he's not going to take all those threes now because he's going to play into the offense. He's very hesitant now. We know DeMar's not taking those threes. He takes 2 a game. Who else is going to take threes? Io is very streaky.
White.
Well, I mean, Kobe White. That's it. That's your only offense,
Yeah.
and that's sad. That's sad because right now Lavine doesn't drive to the basket and finishes. He passes right back out, like you said, and that's not what your job is. Drive to the basket. If you get up in there, great. If you get fouled, even better. It's not hard. I don't care if you miss, but if you create a foul, you put them in penalties. Now you're shooting free throws. You can hit free throws, but they're not playing team basketball, man. Now that he's back, they're not playing team basketball. I'm sorry. He is only playing because he wants to get traded out and increase his value. That is the only reason he is into the offense, right? Into Billy Donovan's offense. I guarantee you that's all bullshit. I guarantee you that is all bullshit. He's there to increase his trade value so he can get out of Chicago and go be a Mountain Dew celebrity, because that's what he is, right? He's got.
To be fair, they won 4 out of 6. To be fair, at least he's trying to be a team player right now. I mean, what you do after you leave the Bulls, that's on you. But right now, and to be triple fair, Cleveland Cavaliers always have our number because I'm sorry, you have a faster, stronger, and more. Their squad is way better than us. Donovan Mitchell has 34 points.
We traded marketing over there.
Yeah,
marketing developed over there, and so I'm sick of the same thing with the Bulls, the Bears, every Chicago team that doesn't develop in house. Maybe not the Blackhawks. The Blackhawks do develop in house. But every single team does not develop in house, and it's really, really pissing me off at this point. Being a Chicago fan, especially me being a White Sox fan, so much potential on these trades that you get and these guys that you sign, and they don't develop.
Yeah. Well, the killer for us today is 34 points, Mitchell. Everybody else, 12. Wade, Allen only had 10. You just 16 for Levert, Merle, 15. The one who killed us was Mitchell.
But if you let Mitchell have his points, so what? Shut down everybody else. Mitchell can score 50, but if you shut down everybody else, but that's the thing, the Bulls don't play that type of defense.
Ooh,
don't shut anybody down. You have one guy, Caruso, and he's made of glass. He's always on the floor. I mean, he must have a magnet on his ass because he's always on the floor. Yes, I get it. Yeah, I love his intensity. I wish I could have 5 of them on the court. But the matter of the fact is, he is very brittle. And just like the Bears have all these assets, the Bulls don't have assets. You've got to trade what you have while it's hot. Get assets for the future because this team is not going anywhere for the next 3 years the way it's going.
Yeah, and right now, what they did today to Rosen is I'm sorry, he's kind of like falling back on all his stats. So right now with today, he only has 6 points. 6. That's it.
You kidding me?
No,
he had
38 minutes. No free throws.
There goes another parlay.
Fair enough. Yeah, 0 for 1. I'm not even gonna go there with you. 0 for 1. 3-pointers, no free throws. Zach Lavine, no free throws. Caruso, no free throws. Vooch, no free throws. Am I reading this correctly? 0 for 0, 0 for 0. The only one who had free throws in our starting lineup tonight was White, 7 for 9. I think and the team 12 for 16 free throws, 7 for 9 was White, 2 for 4 for Drummond, and 3 for 3 for DeSumo. We didn't have any free throws today.
So your 3 all-stars had no free throws, which means they're not driving to the hole and getting fouled.
No, Donovan Mitchell 8 for 8 for free throws, Allen 2 for 2, and 1 for 1 on Merle. So I guess they were calling it fair both ways because they didn't call barely anything, and they went 11 for 11 for free throws.
Of course. That's how you win games, making free throws.
There you go.
JC's like, yep, I've been telling you.
Listen, I was not the best free throw shooter, when I played basketball. So I can't say nothing about free throws.
Fair enough.
All right, let's talk some Blackhawks. The other team on the Madhouse on Madison, we got the Chicago Blackhawks. I mean, they've been losing, but
yeah, I was gonna say, is there much to talk about? Connor Bedard still. Well, I did read an article today that Bedard they're trying to convince him to stay off the ice because
Good luck
I
with
guess he is just like so antsy, like not being able to be on the ice that he keeps trying to like find his way out onto the ice, and they're like, dude, just go sit down, go like just chill, and it's like, I can't, I want to,
Can't help
so
it. Can't
yeah,
help it. But you
No,
know what?
go ahead.
Have you guys noticed that when we put the post about his All Star, and I did say this a week ago or so, where he doesn't lose, his status of All Star, but why are people calling him soft? And I don't watch a bunch of the because I don't understand hockey as well as some people. But why are they calling him soft? And he wouldn't be nominated or he wouldn't be given that All Star status if he wasn't playing well. Or is it one per like baseball, one player per team or something like that? How does this work?
Well, remind me,
NHL?
it was a broken jaw, a dislocated jaw. What was it?
I think it was a dislocation.
Okay. Oh, I mean, dislocated would be one thing, but to me, like, okay, so what? You're going to go back out on the ice and get hit in the jaw again?
No.
Like,
No.
like you need time to rest and recuperate. So to me, anyone calling him soft, like, hey, you go out there and get hit off your freaking blades on your feet by
Yes.
a 6'3", 6'4" defensive NHLer, I guarantee your ass will be called soft as well.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
so
yeah, go ahead.
for a 17, 18-year-old kid, don't be calling a kid soft,
He's playing against grown men.
Yeah.
As simple as that. Like if you're a 35-year-old PE teacher and you're playing against an 8th grader and you drive to the hole and you like dunk on him, like, yeah. Well, obviously you got 80 to 100 pounds on them and you can dunk on somebody. Like that doesn't make you a man, and you can't call him a child for trying to play defense. The kid did as best as he could. He thought he had a breakaway. He thought he can slip through like he usually does. Someone poked the puck behind him, and he ran right into a defensive player who's lowered their shoulder. That's hockey.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, I would love to see him if he can do the skills stuff at the All-Star game. Would love to see that, but like
keep
I said,
him off the ice, man.
Yeah,
keep him off the ice.
Well, again, like a skills challenge, like he's not getting hit by nobody. He's
right.
Shooting some pucks at plates that are attached to the net, or he's doing the fancy like score on a goalie, or I think they also do like a speed skate round where it's one player versus another who can go through the obstacle course the fastest. See him do something like that, fine, but no, definitely keep him off the ice. Keep him, from, re-injuring that jaw, until it's healed. But
yeah,
other than that, I think they've been losing pretty much. So I don't know.
Yeah, they keep losing
much
by
else
a
to talk
puck or
about.
two. Yeah, they lose by a puck or two, and that's fine. They don't have the talent. I mean, they re-signed or gave an extension, a 2-year extension for $4.5 million cap hit for 36-year-old Foligno. I think that's his name. Pretty much, he's just a veteran in the room that everybody goes to. You have a lot of young talent, and he's just there to groom kids. So I mean, he's what it says that he's the voice of the room. That he assumed the role left behind by Jonathan Taves.
Yeah, and I think that's the gentleman that was named in the article that I was talking about, where they were like kind of like trying to like tell Bedard to like calm down and just relax and like stay off the ice, because they kind of went to him and were like, "Hey man, can you go convince him to like chill out,
Convince your kid to
relax."
Yeah, to relax. Yeah, 100%.
He's excited. I mean,
I get it. You have the passion for. He's been playing since he was a toddler. He's been on the ice every day since that point. And you know what? Yeah, I saw the video of him skating. He's got a big old helmet on, a ridiculous helmet on, and he's got a green shirt on so they don't touch him and everything. But yeah, I mean, dude, what did it say? 6 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks.
Which I mean, again, you want him to keep his legs up, like stay in playing shape, but
oh yeah,
again, you don't want him
yep.
putting himself in harm's way. So
no, you want to preserve. And you guys said it right. He's 18 years old, and he is the first 18-year-old to make it to the All-Star game. I mean, he ain't gonna get to play, but he actually made it. I was looking for the actual messages that said he's soft, and I was like, well, why? It makes me want to ask him what makes him soft.
First of all, can you skate? Before you call a hockey player soft, can you skate?
Oh yeah.
Can you skate backwards?
Not me.
Can you shift direction on a drop of a dime? No. The answer is no, people.
No.
90% of people can't do that, so shut the fuck up. It's as simple as that.
There it is. That's what I wanted to hear.
Found it. It's simple as that. I mean, I can skate, but I just can't stop. All right? It's as simple as that. Same thing with skiing. If it's straight, yeah, if there's a tree, I'm fucked. I'm a coyote. Wile E. Coyote. Just hugging the tree, bro.
But there's more pros on here. You know, kid is a beast. Connor's a keeper. Way to go, Connor. You know, there's actual more positives than negatives, but then you see I'm far in between. Sorry, that are just like, you know, far cry from All-Star. See him in last night's game. Matter of fact, all his games. Bedard, Skip Yard will never make the All-Star team. And this is from Clarence Icefield. I'll say his name because this is public. So, this more.
It just sounds like a hater. I wouldn't give them no mind.
That's all he's doing. He's being a hater to agitate.
And there's a Taylor Smith that falls right behind him that says, "Where's your All-Star?"
He's some 40-year-old man living in a trailer talking trash about a
living in mama's basement. So this is the stuff that I came across, and I was wondering, because I am not a hockey guru by all means, but this makes it interesting.
I'm gonna find that tweet and turn into brags and just start trashing them.
I'll send it to you in a minute.
Yeah. All right. While Serg is sending that to JC, we're gonna take a quick break, and we'll be right back with 3 up and 3 down after a word from our sponsors. Boom, 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 boom. Here we go.
Hey, true Chicago sports fans, show off your Chicago pride with some fresh clothes from Grit Clothing Company. At Grit Clothing, they create that simple yet classic style that represents that Chicago Southside lifestyle. From t-shirts to hoodies, hats to glassware, they've got you covered. Grit has everything you need to represent your Chicago pride, so do it right now. Check out gritclothingco.com and use the promo code TrueFan15.
TrueFan15.
For 15% off your entire order. Let me say it again. That's gritclothingco.com and use the promo code TrueFan15 for 15% off of your entire order.
What up? It's Martin Moreno, and you are listening to True Chicago Sports Fans Podcast.
Thanks, Martin. Welcome back to the TCSF podcast with Big Z in the house. We had No Sweat Serg and JC, Dynasty Fantasy Football. Well, welcome to 3 up and 3 down. Oh, that's 3 and out. They all sound the same to me.
I think I'll perplex him with my slow ball.
1, 2, 3.
All right, boys. We've got Cubs news, and I'm gonna let the Cub fans take this one. So go ahead.
Finally, there's some news, baby.
The Cubs signed. Who did he sign?
Shota Managa.
He's a pitcher from Japan, and he was at the Cubs convention. And how excited are you guys that they actually made a decent signing, Serg?
Sergio's going to be Sergio, isn't he? Okay, so
go for it. This is your team. This is your time to brag, guys. This is not my team.
I'm not going to brag because when I seen him pitch, I didn't find him that great. I didn't find him to be. I mean, he might come over here and do some stuff, but he probably is good for a relief pitcher. You know, he's probably. I don't see him in the starting rotation though.
He's in your starting rotation. He's slotted to be your number 3 or number 2. I can't remember.
You know what it reminds me of? You remember, and I know Fukudome was not a pitcher, but we bring in, you know, certain players from wherever, and there's supposed to be these great players, and they do nothing. Fukudome, nothing. And don't get me started. But this guy, I think he only lasted like 2 good innings if we get that out of him. I watched all his footage. He wasn't that great. I'm sorry. JC, what do you think?
Oh, JC.
Oh man, you're killing me.
I'm not saying a damn word about this guy.
First off, his press interview was excellent. It was one of the greatest.
That. Yeah.
That was great. Hey, Chicago, what do you say?
The Cubs are
going to win today. Like that shit was great. But to me, like, yeah, you're always hesitant. You're bringing in a guy who went against competition from another country. That, you know, Japan's baseball is so much different than American baseball.
Correct.
So you never know. But I mean, he does throw about 93 miles, 94 miles an hour. So decent velocity on the ball. You know, supposedly he's a big, like, setting up for, you know, balls in the dirt, chasing, you know, pitches. So like I said, we'll see what he does against, you know, big league talent. But you know, to me, it's just they signed someone. We're not just sitting there with the lights on in the bar no more. That we
JC, for that, they should have just signed us. I mean, if we're just signing,
hey man, we signed a 7, okay? Like we can go home with a 7.
Fair enough.
Like
Fair.
you know, like I said, to be determined if they turn out to be a 5. But you know, like I said, we'll settle with you know, the lights were still dim at the bar and they looked like a 7. You know,
I think we aimed so high that the Dodgers snatched what we wanted because we were confident that he was going to come over here, but it turned out he didn't come over here. So we're just scrounging for whatever we can get. We get the third best international pitcher, and when I watched him, I was like, oh shit. Hopefully what he's done out there can correlate to out here, right? That's what we always say. But
I think they do have an easy time because baseball is baseball. I think the language is usually the barrier. But again, it's $53 million over 4 seasons, and then there's options for 2 more seasons, right? Making it for a fifth season, for making it $80 million in total. That's a bargain in today's good pitching market. Okay, so that's
fair. That's
fair.
fair.
Especially seeing as there's reports that there was a team out there willing to double the Cubs offer.
Right.
So I mean, like I said, we could have walked away without him and been in the same spot we were. So
yeah, and
like
again,
I said, you know, to add an arm to and he's a lefty, I believe, as well. So so like I said, you add a left-handed arm. Like I said, you know, even if he ends up being a 3 or a 4 in the bullpen, you know, you still need, you know, 3 to 5 decent starters in today's game. So again, and nowadays game starters really barely go past, you know, the 5th, 6th inning anyway. So
you know, I did notice that because it used to be to the 7th inning, and then you bring in your relief pitchers. But now, it's
you
like
bring in a relief, and you bring
innings.
in a closer. But now they're bringing people in the 5th and 6th, you know?
And the 5th inning, and that's because the pitchers are getting to their pitch count a lot faster than they used to. Because they're not pitching to contact, right? They're afraid of contact. So you have Imagna. Am I saying that right? Imagna? Yeah, it looks like I said it right. You also have Justin Steele, James Talion from the Yankees that you guys picked up. You also have Oman Hendricks, and that's your 1, 2, 3, and 4. Who your 5th starter is, I have no idea. This has been the Cubs' downfall for a couple of years, is not having starting pitching. All right, it's as simple as that. Not having starting pitching.
Which I mean, they've been focusing on that in the draft. But I mean, again, if it takes these guys 4, 5, 6 years to, you know, make their way through the minors, you know, it doesn't really do you much good.
It does.
Well, the opposite of that, though. I thought we did have decent pitching starters. We had decent, but the bullpen has always let us down. So when we got to the 7th or 8th inning and we had a lead, we always blew it when we got to the bullpen.
2 years ago, you had the number 1 bullpen coming out of the All-Star break. Mm-hmm. Last year, your bullpen was iffy because of lots of injuries. So you had a lot of kids coming up the pitch. So again, and also your starting pitching was hurt a lot too, because you had Stroman hurt, Wicks was hurt, like everybody was hurt, and that happens in baseball, right? But you're looking at notable free agents: Jordan Montgomery, James Paxton, Hyun Jin Ryu, Blake Snell, Mike Clevenger, Zach Greinke, Corey Kluber, Mike Lorenz, Marcus Stroman, who just got picked up, Noah Syndergaard, and Brian Woodruff. That's as of January 10th, but I know Marcus just signed with the Yankees. Clevenger was a great pitcher for us. I would pick him up. I know he looks like he just walked out of the trailer park, but the boy can eat innings, and on a good team, he can be very motivated. So I would literally, if I was a Cubs, I would sign him for a 1 year with an option and see what you can do. Because right now you're in the window to win, but you're not in the window to win it all right now. Okay. Right? In the National League, you've got the Giants, who are always going to spend money to try to compete with the Dodgers. You got San Diego trying to compete with the Dodgers. You got the Dodgers competing with the Dodgers. You got Atlanta, right? And then you have the Mets, who spend money on a stupid scale. And then out of the Central, you'll have Milwaukee, who will set up a little campfire, and they'll praise himself and put a little patch on her because the Scott's honor and all that shit. And then you'll have the Cardinals overtake them. And then the Cubs will make some noise. I don't think the Cubs are there to compete with the big boys yet. I think they're a year away. I think you guys not getting Ohtani made a huge difference, right? Now you have to go to plan B, C, D, E, F.
We haven't even signed Bellinger again. I mean, Bellinger is just sitting there.
The thing is that Cubs fans are like, oh, it's a sure thing. We're going to sign Bellinger. It's not a sure thing.
No.
It is not a sure thing.
No, but even with the Cubs convention, I mean, like even the players were sitting there like, we need to re-sign Belly.
Yes.
Like
I agree.
So to me, like we keep hearing, the Cubs are looking at Cease and how the White Sox are being jerks to their crosstown rivals that they don't want to, lower their
ridiculous. They asking price is ridiculous. They're asking for an all-star that's a starter, and they're asking for your top two prospects. And you should ask for a king's ransom for a good pitcher, for a really good pitcher that eats up innings, doesn't get hurt. That's what you're going to ask for. And if no one wants to pay it, I guarantee you, by trade deadline, someone's going to go down and someone will pay the king's ransom, because there's no reason to have a great pitcher like him on here. Now, is it fool's gold because his velocity is down, the sweeping motion is down on his slider? Okay, I'm pretty sure somebody can fix that. But at the same time, he was up in the Cy Young conversation. So I don't think he'll go back to the Cubs. I don't think the Cubs are going to part way with a lot of those draft picks, and I don't think they'll leave anybody off the major league roster. So, Cubs fans, that's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen.
Okay.
No, I'm speaking.
I know. I give you time.
I love Cease. I want him to stay here, but the problem is that why am I going to waste his outings?
Yeah.
He's going to end up pitching 3 good innings, and then he'll have a hiccup, and then we don't score, and we lose 3-1.
Yeah,
That's just all right. Let's finish our Cubs segment. We have Kerry Wood and Aramis Ramirez are in the Cubs Hall of Fame. They were at CubsCon. They're very deserving. I mean, Kerry Wood should probably have a statue outside. I don't even know. I mean, the guy sets records. He's a good guy. He's always been nice to me when I've met him. He still lives in Chicago for most of the year. Aramis Ramirez was probably one of my favorite Cubs during that era. He's a badass. Yeah, he's a badass dude. Let's see. I don't know. Do you have any Cubs news? Because I that's not my segment.
Sign the number 4 international prospect.
Oh, that's
what did I say his name was? It's one of those names that you would expect in like a cartel movie. Fernando Cruz or something like that.
I think it is Fernando. Serg, I posted on the website on our page.
I'm trying to pull it up now. It is Fernando. Yeah, it's Fernando Cruz.
There you go.
Yeah, like I said, it sounds like a standard, bad guy character in, Bad Boys 2 or something. Fernando Cruz, like
17 years old, Dominican shortstop prospect.
Yep.
Okay.
Kind of look a little skinny to me from the photo you guys posted. But
hey, Jason, if I sent you to the Dominican Republic with no money, you come back real skinny too, bro.
Hey,
I didn't say it, brother.
yeah,
It wasn't me.
I could lose a few lbs. I'm just
Hey,
saying.
we all could, brother. We all could. Yeah, I think this is the international signing window that just opened up today. So you have a lot of teams that have been signing players. The Cubs and Sox each signed one player. I think the Pirates, Orioles, and some other ones signed two. But that depends on how much international money you have to sign. If a player that you have on your roster declines an option, you lose some of that money. I don't know how that correlates, but that's the rule.
Listen to
which
me.
is kind
If as long as we walk away with a number 3, or number 4. I mean,
You did.
as long as the high prospects. I don't want number 50. I don't want number 25.
No.
But like, if we can walk away with number 4, hey, add him to it. Let's go.
Right. And he's 17, so you're not going to see him till he's like 22, 25 coming out of the minor leagues, depending on how fast his growth is. So he's going to be at, A ball, and then we'll see where he's at from that. Because
Triple A for a minute.
it'll be a while till he gets to AAA. He's going to be in the winter league. Then he's going to go to A ball, and then he's going to stay out in the Arizona league for A ball, and then go to regular A ball, and then that's how it goes. So
The Chris Bryant treatment.
Oh no, he's not that kind of player yet, man. We don't know what you got yet. You don't have no idea what you got yet.
No.
You all have enough players that should be coming up at Howard. That never panned out. Speaking of not panning out, the White Sox. Good segue there, huh? We talked about the Dillis asking price. The White Sox are asking for the ace. It's a high price. They're seeking the Yankees' prized outfielder prospect Spencer Jones or right-handed pitcher Chase Hampton in their package, while asking Baltimore for outfielder Colton Cowser or Heston Kingerson among other prospects. So they're asking for top-tier prospects along with a player that they can plug into the outfield right now, because we've had a black hole in right field since Jermaine died. So they're going to ask for the King's ransom, and someone at some point is going to pay it, because someone is going to go down. So I would expect that they keep Cease until the trade deadline, and you have maybe the Dodgers in need. The Rangers are going to be probably in need. You have San Diego might be in need. I don't know. One of the big teams is going to be in need because someone is going to go down. So
Always says.
I mean, that's what you do, right? At this point, you're running a business. You're not really worried about winning, because the White Sox never worry about winning. The White Sox have signed right-hander Joe Barlow to a minor league deal. Barlow's 28, coming off a rough year, not too far removed from big league closer. He debuted for the Rangers in 21. Whatever. This is just a body. Essentially, that is just a body. They also signed catcher Martin Maldonado, who's going to handle the pitching staff. He's old as hell. I think he's 38. I don't think the knees are going to hold up every game, but he's there to teach. Essentially, we are the Kansas City Royals with old players and a bunch of kids, and not going to go anywhere. They signed also a right-handed pitcher, Chris Flexen, Chad Klug, Tim Hill, Eric Freddie, whatever. So they signed some players. Who cares? The White Sox expect to be the beneficiary of the number 1 international prospect. 17-year-old third baseman Eduardo Herrera agreed to a deal with the Southsiders today. Essentially, I looked at a lot of his film. He's a big boy. And they had him playing shortstop, and they're like, "You're too big to play shortstop. You're not as mobile as you were when you were younger, only 17." So they already got him at third base. So essentially, this guy might be our first baseman in about 5 or 6 years, because once he starts eating that Chicago food, he's going to gain some pounds. That's going to Portillo's.
I was going to say, he looked pretty jacked in the photo that I saw of him. And
yeah, he's jacked. And I saw.
Meanwhile, you go look at the Cubs prospect, and it's like, man, I stole all your food at lunch, didn't he?
That guy's still eating ramen. He's a college student eating ramen. So, there's nothing to be excited in the White Sox. They threw out their promotional schedule. I'm like, okay, besides the Jimenez bobblehead and the throwback jersey giveaway, I thought that was pretty cool. It's I think the 93 jersey where it's the cutoff. I don't know if you remember those cutoffs. The Rockies had it was just like literally like a vest.
Yeah.
They're going to give that away. Those are the only 2 games I'll probably go to. I'm not sure if I'm going to opening day, even though I've gone every year, but
You'll go. You'll go. You're not breaking tradition, are you?
you know what? Just because it's good content and I can take my phone and microphones and ask people shit, it'll be good content. I'll go. The White Sox announced this past Thursday that they named Jim Wong as the new assistant general manager. Can you guess where we got him from?
No idea.
Kansas City. We're the Kansas City White Sox at this point. We have their managers, we have their coaches, we have their fucking players. They're all banking on resurrecting that Kansas City team that went to the World Series. Right.
That was a few years ago, wasn't it?
Exactly. Yeah.
Poor White Sox.
Yeah, poor White Sox fans. That's exactly.
Where's your jumbotron for? Thank you, Reinsdorf.
I cannot wait. And I don't want to wish bad on somebody, but I can't wait till he sells the team. And I know he's not going to sell the team until he passes. But Mark Cuban, can you please buy the White Sox?
He's
Jeff
done.
Bezos.
He's done. He's trying to sell. He's trying to sell his shares of, I think, the Dallas Mavericks. I think he
already did.
He did.
So,
he's still majority controlling, but he's still like the GM and president kind of thing. So he's not
basketball operations.
Yeah, and he on his way out because of that deal, he gave all of his employees a huge bonus. I don't know how much huge is, but
more than the bonus we get. So it's got to be huge.
Yeah. All right. You want to take a quick break, and we'll be back with stirring the pot, and we'll wrap this up. Kind of long in the tooth at this point. Yep. All right, we'll take a quick break and we'll play another ad from Grit and Sean and Steven.
Hey, true Chicago sports fans, show off your Chicago pride with some fresh clothes from Grit Clothing Company. At Grit Clothing, they create that simple yet classic style that represents that Chicago Southside lifestyle. From t-shirts to hoodies, hats to glassware, they've got you covered. Grit has everything you need to represent your Chicago pride, so do it right now. Check out gritclothingco.com and use the promo code TrueFan15. TrueFan15 for 15% off your entire order. Let me say it again. That's gritclothingco.com and use the promo code TrueFan15 for 15% off of your entire order.
Hey guys, it's Steven.
And this is Sean, and you are listening to True Chicago Sports Fans.
Don't forget to listen to No War on the Weekend. New episodes on Monday. You can find us anywhere you listen to podcasts.
Yeah, so we're going to go do a couple of shots. So let's kick it back over to Big Z.
Welcome back to the True Chicago Sports Fans podcast with Big Z featuring JC, Dynasty Fantasy Football, and No Sweat Serg. Boys, it's that time again. Y'all know what time it is. It's time for Stirring the Pod. All right, gentlemen. I'm going to defer to Serg. He actually brought up this topic in the chat. So no further ado. Go ahead, Serg.
On the spot. All right. So I was thinking, like, I am one of those guys. I don't play basketball as much anymore.
You don't play basketball?
I don't play as much as I used to. You know,
okay.
These days, I've been on the court a lot more every Saturday morning. And I'm wondering what shoes everybody got on. But what are you comfortable wearing? Or if you don't play basketball, that's fine. Where you feel like walking in and high stepping it in. And I find myself wearing, I've had these for a couple of years. I finally broke them out the closet. And I have the Damian Lillards from a couple of years ago. Now,
I had no idea he had shoes on.
Yeah, hold on. So I got these bad boys right here, Damian Lillards.
What brand is that? Is that
these are Adidas? Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, there's Dame. There you go.
Okay.
So I've been wearing these bad boys. Kind of like them, comfortable, could run around in them. But my thing is that I don't wear Jordans to play. I don't know how everyone wears Jordans to play, but I cannot.
They're not comfortable. I'm sorry. And I'm probably in the minority when it comes to like everyone's shoe game and all that.
Yeah.
I have over 100 pairs of shoes, and I wouldn't say true Jordans. I have the Bread 11s, and I have the Son of Mars, which I think are 4s. Those are my 2 Jordans that I have. Oh, I'm sorry, 3 pairs of Jordans, and I have the Toros, the all red one, right?
Okay.
Those because I love the color red, so I got those. I paid full price for those. But I also have like 4 pairs of Jordan Air Max collaboration. They have they're 13s, 11s, and Air Max. They're super wide shoes, super comfortable. Those are the only comfortable shoes that are Jordans that I've ever had. Every other Jordan, it's very narrow. The insole is very hard, very tough.
That's
I
my point.
don't understand how, because I am a teacher and I see these all day. I'm like, how are you walking in these all day? They're not comfortable at all. And they would not be comfortable for a basketball shoe. That's why you don't see many people playing in Jordans, because they're not comfortable. So for me, myself, I mean, I love different types of shoes. I'm a New Balance guy most of the time. That's what I'm wearing at work. I have a pair of New Balance. They're New Balance collaboration with David Flunt's sunflower seed. So the insole has nothing but sunflower seeds printed on them. They're red, white, blue, and with a yellow outline. They have the sunflower seed logo on there. It came in a sunflower seed bag. It was phenomenal. I love it. I got the sandals. I got the shoes. I got the shirt. You know, that's my type of shoe. I do wear a lot of New Balance. I do wear a lot of Nike Air Max, whether it's the 90s, the 96, the 98s, the Vapor Max. Those are the type of shoes that are comfortable I can wear on a daily basis. But Jordans ain't one of them. JC?
Yeah, Jordans are
Man, you're talking to the white guy that will wear flip flops year round. So
I can attest to that. I can definitely attest to that.
Man, catch me in some gym shorts and flip flops going to the grocery store in 32-degree weather, bro. I'm telling you.
That's that
I own 1 pair of Jordans. They're low top whites, with the Nike swooshes are like one side's baby blue, one side's pink. Then the other shoe has like yellow, and then I forget what the other color is. But then the only thing is like it's they're Jordans, but the Nike swooshes are like 4 different kind of like Easter colors, if you will, like pastel colors. But the only reason why I went with them because they're low top whites. And like I said, every now and again when I do, throw on a pair of black jeans or whatever, I go with a pair of white low tops.
Yeah.
But other than that, I'm a New Balance guy, man. Like
which New Balance? What New Balance are you rocking? Which ones?
I don't even know, man. Whatever's cheapest, because I wear them at work, and like I destroy them. They get beat the hell up. It's one of those, as long as they're in that like $80 range and they got some good insoles, I don't care. They're gonna get trashed within a week.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Fresh Foam. The Fresh Foam ones. Yep. They're really comfortable, and then they have like the mesh outside. Yep. Really comfortable. They stretch a lot, so they're great. I literally have about 6 pairs of those. I wear them until there's no tread at the bottom. I literally wear them every day for work.
I think one of my kids has the Kobe's. Like he'll wear Kobe, and I don't know which one's.
Oh, okay.
He'll wear Kobe's, and the other one, and you're gonna laugh, but always has me laughing. Like he wears the SpongeBob ones, and they are a brand. I think they're Kyrie's or something like that, but they're SpongeBob, and they're 2 different colors. You gotta look it up. Gonna have to look it up, guys. There's like one is like a SpongeBob, and the other one's Patrick, and one shoe is literally yellow, the other one's pink, right? I mean,
those are Kyrie's, and I think they're basketball shoes.
Basketball shoes.
Yeah.
So, those are the ones they hoop in.
I've seen more kids wear Giannis's and Kyrie's and anything like that rather than Jordans.
Anything but Jordan.
I think they gonna. You go to a basketball shoe. I think Jordans at this point are not a basketball shoe. I think at this point they are a fashion statement more than anything. Right, you to go to.
I mean the last real like to me like basketball shoe Jordan made was the red and blacks. What were they?
The one with all his accomplishments at the bottom of them.
The one that they were during the championship years.
Yeah.
I think when he brought back 45, I think he was wearing them.
It was all
but to me like that was
on the sole. on the bottom, so it had all the yeah.
But to me, like those were the last true basketball shoe of his. Everything else has been, like you said, it's a statement. It's
You can't fault him for making so much money every minute based on
millions.
But like I said, like with gym shoes, like man, I'm more about like, I got some Pumas that are like a crazy orange. I got Reeboks that are American flag that I wear on like 4th of July or when the Olympics are going on.
There you go.
But like I said, other than that, man, like I don't care, man. As long as they're comfy and they fit and like.
That's what I said in the chat. As long as you're comfortable and you can maneuver, but it's playing sports and doing workouts is huge.
Oh no, yeah, 100%.
Hurt right after.
If you could wear one shoe from the 90s, not Jordan, obviously, one shoe from the 90s, which one would it be? Doesn't matter, basketball, baseball, whatever. What famous shoe would you wear?
Famous? I always have Payless. So
you had what?
Famous shoes. I have Payless shoes.
Well, I grew up I had LA Gear, bro. So that's. But we're saying that you can afford them now if you can bring them back. Like you can go back and get the Barclays, the pennies, the David Robinsons.
I was gonna say for me it would be the pennies because I was a huge Penny Hardaway fan.
Serg wants the Reebok pumps.
Hey, you know what? give me the starter pullover jacket with the Reebok pumps. I'd be rocking that.
Yeah, definitely. I was always I loved the Ken Griffey's. The high top baseball shoe with the big swoosh on the side.
Yeah.
I have the Naubuck ones. I have some gray reflective with pink on them. I still want to get the white with the Mariners colors. It's hard to get those. They'll sell out really quick. But I've every single one of those shoes has been super comfortable. They're great for turf, obviously. The Deion Sanders and the pennies. Those are my top 3 shoes that I would want to get.
Now I want to go get. Now that I'm old enough, now if I see those,
you can afford it.
Now now that I can afford it, I want to go get those shoes now. Isn't that a bitch?
Yeah. I see. I do have a pair of Pippins, with the big air on it. My all white with the gum bottom. I do have a pretty extensive shoe collection. I just don't. I rotate them in and out, and I don't wear them all the time. But
I forgot he had shoes.
The Air Up Tempo 96. They were a variation of David Robinson's shoe because his shoe was all black, white, and that turquoise, and they just kind of changed it up and just put the air on there on the side for Pippen. But otherwise, I mean, Pippen had an ugly shoe the one after that. But all right, I think it's time to wrap it up, boys. So you guys can watch the rest of the football game. And
all right, just before we wrap up, you guys, somebody explain to me what is dry January.
Never heard of her.
Didn't one of you guys like?
I have a friend whose name was January. I don't know if she's dry or what. I don't know.
Am I crazy? Was it not in like the group text that like someone said something about talking about dry January or
someone brought that up. People were posting it like, "Oh, I'm not drinking. It's dry January." I'm like, "Do you?"
I'm like sober October is what you're all are talking about, right? Like
sober October, dry January. I'm like, there's so many sports going on. I don't know how you. No, I can't do it.
Maybe it was Steven that brought it up, and he's not here to.
I mean, I put it in there because it was something of a topic on my Facebook feed, and they're like, I don't know if I can
it is. If you're feeling sober, or curious, or it's considered a dry January. Steps for success. So I just Googled it, and that's what came up.
Yeah, because I'm talking with someone right now, and they're doing dry January, and like they brought up like, I'm not really drinking in January. I'm like, well, like first off, I can go months without drinking, but then like I said, you give me one margarita, I'm gonna have 10. So, but it's one of those like if I'm not in a drinking mood, like I can go months without drinking. But like I've been kind of conversating with someone, and like they were saying like, oh, I'm not drinking wine, I'm trying to get healthy, I'm doing dry January, and I'm like, what the fuck is dry January?
Yeah, I think it pertains to alcohol, but it here it says it's to help you break out of bad habits. So whatever your bad habit is,
part of that New Year's resolution.
I was gonna say that's just a New Year's resolution. Stop trying to sell me on new fucking slogans and it's sober October in January. Okay, like stop it.
Stop making up.
It's a New Year's resolution. You just want to call it something.
2024, no liquor.
It's not even catchy. Dry January, like it's not even catchy. Get out of here with that.
Whatever it is. All right, y'all. Thanks for listening. Thank you to everyone that is watching and listening to our show. A big thank you to our sponsors, 606 Media, True Chicago Sports Fans, and Grit Clothing Company. Go over there and pick up a shirt. Use our promo code TrueFan15 for 15% off your entire order. You could also check out Sean and Steven's show, The No Water on the Weekend, available everywhere that podcasts are available. It's a Chicago-centric podcast. Lots of funny stuff available on Mondays. Shout out to Ronesh Panic, Serious Beats, and custom made for the beats we played on today's audio version of the show. Check out paniconthebeat.com for your moment merch and gear. And you can check us out on social media, whether it's on Facebook, it's on Twitter, it's on TikTok, it's on Instagram, True Chicago Sports Fans, or TCSF Pod on Twitter. Hit us up with a DM, follow, and share with everybody. You want to follow JC and Serg? You can. JC Dynasty FF is
I post my Twitter handle every week, so if you want to follow me, you can. I'll have more content coming very soon on All 22 Film. My opinions on some of these players coming out in the draft. Caleb Williams' opinions may be coming very soon.
Oh, yeah.
So, like I said, give me a follow. JC Dynasty FF.
There you go, Serg. No sweat, Serg. Where can they find you?
Mine is actually, my handle is going to be Too Late. Hi, Sergio. Do you even know your one? Yeah, it's Too Late to Quit. So it's literally a number 2, late, _, another number 2, and quit.
All right, we're gonna work on Serg's change it to No Sweat Serg. All of his handles. He's got numbers and letters and
man.
Yeah, your handle's more like a password.
Oh, that's weird. I should start using that, right? So everybody knows. Who's trying to hack into my shit?
He's going to change it to Too Legit.
Too legit to quit.
Yeah.
I like that. I don't have anything, I just have this with you guys. Had this for years, and I'm just happy to be a part of it.
Well, you can DM Serg at the True Chicago Sports Fans page. You can find him there. He'll respond pretty quickly. So
just send some crazy stuff out of pocket, and me and Serg will attack.
There you go. All right, y'all. For No Sweat, Serg and JC Dynasty Fantasy Football, I am Big Z. We'll see you next time for episode 178. And until then, be good to each other for the love of sports. And we